Awesome. Hopkins Peter Awesome. Hopkins Peter Mary. Hopkins Peter Palermo. Hopkins Peter Christian. Public Health Lisa. Public Health Group. Oh, this health. Public Policy Gavin. South Bend Common Kyle. South Hill Hanya. Transfer attendant. Third year. Not representing Workday software. That's fine. My name is Jack Blanchard, and I'm Associate Provost for Enterprise Resource Planning. That's probably not full. Probably not full in terms of a title, but really what I'm doing is representing the campus as we need to implement modernization of our student system. We're going to do that today. Thank you for that slide. So when I talk about enterprise resource planning system, some of you may not be familiar with Einstein, so just want to define that. ERP is basically the computer infrastructure that allows us to do work at the university. And the problem that we're trying to face is that our systems are obviously no longer meet the needs of a flagship research university. So we've started to update our systems, and you see green check marks next to our financial system and our HR system. We use Workday, and we'll talk more about Workday, to modernize those systems as of last November. Went live those two systems. Now we're pivoting to student to modernize our student systems. I'll be talking more about what that involves. Next slide, please. So, when I talk about what is outdated about our system, that's what you see on the screen. Part of our student information system is based in COBOL. This is a programming language from the Eisenhower era. If you're a computer science student heading to Maryland now, you will not learn this language. We have a difficult time hiring people who know COBOL because they are retiring or dying. And that creates problems. You have a computer system based on software that you cannot improve, you cannot corrupt, you cannot modernize. So we need to move away from this system and go to a modern cloud-based system that we're talking about. Next slide, please. So as we began preparing for this project, we spoke to our key stakeholders, and that included our students. Now, we're welcome to see some of the feedback that we received, and overall, what students were looking for was opportunity to standardize processes, to streamline processes, to ensure that they could have access to the systems 24/7, and to have a full view of their academic record. what they registered for, what their academic plan is, their financial information, it's all accessible in one place. And you have comments, different platforms, sometimes here to the left. And then faculty and staff see many of these things. They're logging in and out of different systems, trying to support our students. One advisor told us that they will be meeting with a student, trying to advise them about their schedule, and that advisor can't even access the student's schedule on their computer. And so they don't have information they need to really support students. They talk about data that are siloed and not being able to get a full picture of a student and properly support them, and again, frustration with access to these systems and not having normal solutions. So next slide, please. So we're going to transform the student experience with Workday, as I mentioned. Workday is the platform that we selected. We really started this process back in 2017. We had an outside consulting firm help us to evaluate quantities and monthly available products that are out there. In fall of 2019, we heard from two major suppliers of this kind of enterprise solution. Workday was one of those two. And ultimately, Workday was selected. As we began to pandemic, we went ahead and got approval with Workday, started that implementation in 2021. And we got, as I mentioned, with HR and finance being live on Workday last fall, and now pivoting to this for students. So Workday is transforming the way that we operate as a university. It's providing this single platform that has one source of truth. You're not logging into one system and seeing different data when you log into a different system. Mobile access, simplified training, you have annual updates twice a year that come out from Workday. Just like your phone that's constantly updating to better software, our systems will be updated the same way. And next slide. So Workday can always support that full life cycle of a student. On the left, new student onboarding, financial aid, advising registration, broader student credentials, and ultimately enrollment and graduation. Next slide, please. So when I talk about Workday modernizing our systems, replacing our systems, I would be clear that we're replacing a good number of our systems, and those are listed on the left. So Testudo, that's the portal that you're familiar with, or UNAG, the faculty where GAs are putting in grades, the other systems that we secure. Those systems will be retired eventually because our functionality will go on Workday. The systems that you see on the right, probably might be familiar with, is Token Age. Those systems will continue because they provide functionality. They are more modern systems, and that functionality is going to be Workday. So we'll retire the systems on the left. The systems on the right we will create integrations with. So Workday will pull data from those applications and then also share data those applications in Workday. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give you an update about where we are. And this is a high-level overview of our calendar. And the student project was started on the upper left. That's when we started these interviews with stakeholders. That's when we started surveying our systems, mapping out this legacy systems that we've seen, what they had, what their capabilities were, and good products and good nominations for retirement. And then if you scan down on the left there, you see something called architect and configure. That's where we are now. And let me define that a little bit. This is not software like Excel, Word, boot up and offset instructions. Because of the unique characteristics of the releasing, because of the scope of this kind of software, you configure it, don't just load it up. And you also are not making custom software. It's not bespoke. So you're configuring the software within its technical confines. And all of this takes a good amount of time and effort. So what you see there, that WSA and WSE, underneath that gold star of who we are, these are called work sets. In the next slide, I'm going to unpack these in a moment. But each work set builds a foundation We look at our operational processes. We understand and review those. We then have to decide what is that process to rate change going to look like in work that we accomplish that function in workday, and then we configure workday. And this happens across 5 work sets, A through D that you see here. So that will keep us going until spring of 2027. And if you look at the lower right, there are 5 red markers there. These represent this staggered go live that we have at Workday. So I mentioned finance and HR last fall. If you were on those systems, we open up in November 15th, and Big Bang go live is called. We're now just using Workday. Everything else is gone. You can't do that for the student system because they're so complicated. So you roll out functionality in stages. And that first stage is in the summer of 2027. So emissions data begins to be processed. A lot of that's going to be behind the scenes. If we're to ask you when our students and faculty actually going to start getting on Workday, the earliest will be spring of 2028 as they start to work with their advisors. We plan for registering in the fall of 2028. By fall of 2028, we are fully live on Workday. All the functionality is going to be on Workday from that museum. The students are using it for everything that was here. Next slide. So there's a lot going on here. I'm just unpacking what I showed you in the prior slide with those work stats. So the far left, starting last March through July of the summer, we worked on WorkSet A. This is 64 of 220 operational processes that we're going to have to manage. I'm not going to go through all the topics that we covered there, but that just shows you all the things we have to start gathering there. And then in the hash rectangle in blue, that's the current academic year. So this fall, we ramp up to 98 operational processes. I can WorkSet E through the stuff page to rapidly apply. And then we pivot to WorkSet C in the spring. By the time it's the end of this academic year, we will have completed about 90% of the configuration that we're actually doing. It's a heavy lift. We are front loading this because this is serves as the foundation of all the work that will come subsequently 2026, 2027, allowing us to escape going live in that 27. I show there 150 innovations. So these are all the different kind of systems, platforms that we have connecting the data using Workday. Those are other things that we're working. Next slide, please. So we've just begun this process. We have a lot more to do. But I want to highlight a couple of things that I think are ways for our students or staff about. The first one has to do with enforcing prerequisites. We can't do that in our current system. So if you're a student and you're registering courses and you pull a course, you say, I think I need that and I want to take it, it's available. It says something about prerequisites. I think I have those prerequisites. I'm going to go ahead and register that. What happens then, you need that behind the scenes to the staff member manually goes through who's registering for this course. Do they have the prerequisites that we're supposed to be enforcing? They then subsequently kick you out of that class. I know everyone's had that experience. You try to register that and I have not registered. Of course, you think you're all set. Days later, you've gotten out of that class because you didn't have the prerequisite. Wasted your time. You're not scrambling to rebuild your schedule and staff and wasting your time. In Workday, we ask our student member experts to test all of our programs and programs on campus. Over 6,000 courses that we need. You can imagine the hours of that as well. And we ask all these programs, do you want to do courses to run as if so we can do it? And you can bake that into the Workday. So now the students are going to register this thing that we don't have a prerequisite for it. We'll know it immediately, we won't waste their time for it. And also when we say the time we have staff, we're not doing this manually behind. So I think that's going to be included. Next slide, please. The other thing that we do is transparency about the bill. Right now, there's like outdated system that we have. We have a charge limit, which means billions. So there are occasions where students are being billed, but you don't know what it's for. I can't decipher what this description is. In Workday, you will see full billing information, so you can know the origins of each part that you have. Similarly, we'll have student financial information. We'll have when you get access to financial aid information. You'll be instructed on next steps that you have to take for that financial aid. That's appropriate. All of that's going to be delivered through the mobile app. So again, a way for students to come to improve the user experience by having that clarity and information. Next slide, please. The other thing about the student experience is that you will have control over student personal information. So here we are seeing what a student would see on their personal data library. And they can list what I prefer name they might choose. They can list if they like the pronunciation of their name, and they can also display their pronouns. So all of that is under the student's control. Next slide, please. So all of this is a template, as I said. It requires us to work with all of your programs. We have over 40,000 students on the campus. We have over 300 programs, over 34,000 courses. All of that requires us to have knowledge about global experts, what is your department doing, what's your program doing. So we're working with what we call subject matter experts. We have over 175 of those. We spent over 500 hours on GI, achieving the kinds of things I highlighted. The second piece that you see here in the middle is that we created advisory committees. I'm going to talk a little bit more about these. We want to make sure that we're getting stakeholders, students, and faculty who are coming in and giving us information and also getting information from us, getting updated on what we're doing. So we launched the faculty advisory committee, and we are launching the student advisory committee that I'm going to talk more about. And we will continue what we call confirmation testing, where we're looking at data validation, data that we're pulling the work to get them right, and we're testing all those processes that I spoke about. All of this requires us to have extensive engagement across students. So a lot of your staff has been involved with this, and more of the college students will also get engaged with us. Next slide, please. So we are creating a student advisory committee that is leveraging existing advisory. So CLOS has a student advisory committee that has undergraduate, graduate perspectives. It has representatives from all schools. The student affairs also has a student advisory committee. IT has a student council advisory committee, and then a student council there. Our calendar students across all of those advisory committees. We are going to start engaging with those different committees for the end of the semester, and we're going to start inviting them and scheduling meetings that we have and we'll put on the calendar for next semester. And just like the faculty advisory committee, we'll have cadence about 2 meetings each semester from next spring through the spring of 2027, where we're engaging students and the kind of topics that you see here, student onboarding, registration, student financials dashboard. So, for example, we can show students that dashboard and see all their information, and we can ask them, is that the kind of information you need? Is it organized in the way you want? Is that layout, is the report that you're getting, are the tasks that you're seeing, are those, in your perspective, useful and useful? And then we'll bring that back to the students out there. Next slide, please. So, that's a lot tonight, but I want to point out that there is a website. I feel like I'm being honest with this. I've been here for 26 years. Whenever you want to find something, you have to navigate, click on multiple websites. We have this, we have LA.edu. It has all the information about the project. We just did, by the way, an all campus town hall meeting that you all might keep your there. We recorded that, and that's going to be on the website. We had a town hall meeting with us this spring, and that's recorded on the website. So it's a good place to go to in your school. I think that's my last thing. And how particular one? Yes.
I just want to say I really think this birthday stuff is super cool because I work with Roman and restaurants.
Yeah.
I have outdated space and often did like I wish we could just have it all in one place so I have to put it on everything. So I really see this work. I really do would benefit for me and law from always have and always super different. So I put this is a great thing for student life and well being. I just want to say thank you for you and your team.
For sure, very like stuff. There's my went to the University of Maryland and shared with me this experiences now in this kind of system. So I'll confess, making shapers is improved and the progress mentioned in town policy. This is critical that better serve our students who are paying to go to a life and business university and usually using this afternoon technology. So we will need a better product investigation today.
I'm very often to see your university. Just because also to do very especially how you can speak. So those who that often the mesh which doesn't that one beautiful. But I do have one concern. I think this is gonna be really something that you know about because I have quite a bit of experience with Workday as a student worker and just the reputation that Workday has among the people that I know, the people that are multiple campus jobs that I've looked at, like they're great. And there's one specific that has like broken recently forever. And that's if you have a job, this is my opinion. If you have a job where you have to swipe in your ID to log in and you don't manually put in your hours, and then you have a second online job where you are supposed to manually put in your hours, you physically can't put in any hours. So there's is a way you're supposed to fill out a form, never works. Always been broken, or doesn't go anywhere. So and everyone knows it's broken, and it's never been fixed. And so you have to like work directly with HR and trying to get your hours done. And I know people that didn't get paid for a month, almost didn't make their rent because it was such an hassle to try to get their hours and get paid.
So first, so I can't answer that right. Still, I would love in other words, you can. So if you email me, by the way, any of you can email me anytime. If you don't have someone who just really and so whether there's a species there or working on something, those have one groups. No one should ever have a great opinion. And if anyone tells you we can't be because of the work there, that is not accurate. Maybe something going on, maybe something that we're not familiar with, but presidents, presidents, CFO, the CIO, all of them said that our highest priority is annual individuals actively on time, especially the students or often in the teaching. And so there's our instance, that's the case. We have sent out emails about giving email address that the students, staff, faculty have any issues with pay. We put that through this email directly. And I can share that as well when I respond to your son. But it will reach you starting at the years. Absolutely, there's frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, because these other things have really contributed to like negative workday, my experience with a lot of people that I spoke up to. So I think the idea sounds great, and I think that it's really cool, but the experience not really good at.
No, I appreciate that. I know that's what our experience is something like that. There are a couple of things that you see there. First, when we went into this, we were told that very specific stabilization for 12 months through challenges as that really is this. I think we've done over 4 explain alterations and changes to the rest problems that were what we're not right. There are opportunities to be sure that we're still the same press. The other thing that we learned from that implementation challenge is that a lot of people were frustrated with the thinking that company We did videos, teaching first training, somewhat limited in in-person experiences. And we're developing our training paradigm for students in communication. Looking back in the year, we're fell short on emphasis in terms of this. We've also reached out to other universities that have gone on, like ISC, University, Washington, US, University of Texas, and asked them about their training and counseling and ways of these experience. So it is a long process, and I know it's frustrating, but let us know what's going on, and I'll bring our attention to stuff we know.
Thank you so much. So I'll hold you to these and they'll be your legs. Perfect. You should go right up the side.
We all seen, AWS, events of being really critical data in the cloud, and many of these data particularly some many of the data are things very critical data, and these are sort of the main kind of so essential and practically for that. So what is that university to ensure the continued accessibility of this data? All not just where they have an issue with the companies and behind where they have an issue, make sure that their data is law very resilient.
Right. So with Workday, we'll be a warehouse to the very hard scheme. And I believe now the IT is looking at the different alternatives for Rio is doing what systems to use is it AWS, Microsoft, something else. And that is the one we're putting in like is what kind of redundancies, what kind of security do they have, what kind of protections do they have if they're in these systems. So there's certainly that question about these cloud-based systems. I would point out that mainframe systems have their own vulnerabilities, especially mainframe systems that can't be fixed. Where literally we don't have technical support in place. You have to contract with someone who has the legacy expertise to have them do these things for us. So there's a risk on the current systems that we have with mainframes, but you're absolutely right. My understanding is that DIT is leading an effort now that they're looking at evaluating alternatives that we do have issues with being anxiety, addressing issues like security, stability, and redundancies in the systems. But that's I can take this one.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Motion to recess to finance for the motion to recess for 20 minutes. Yeah. So all those in favor? Yes, and yay. Motion passed with 31. One. Now, another thing. So the writing. Yes. Even more. Gotta move the so I can get my up 7 minutes. Wait, why aren't you guys perform? Oh, yeah. You need to know me less. There it goes. It's like with forward. Oh, sorry. Did it down? I mean, girl. I don't know. It's like the fancy thing. They for no down here like so cool. I like every place kind of like transfer. Yeah. But then you go to like Europe or like Victoria or like parts of all like matches. Yeah. Yeah. Except for well, it's like a city building game. It's a very narrative thing and you like design about I was obsessed with him out there. Hey, everybody. We have early quarter finance or Yeah, so first time is the case.
seasons.
Yeah. Fifty-five, 49% of TAs that we surveyed so far they didn't feel bored with the deadline process. 20% of TAs they benefit from more training, and 30% of TAs said they didn't feel prepared to support us with comments. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So we're getting some good numbers, and the program office is willing to work with us on providing more streamlined TA trainings. I think for credit, this guy Toby Egan, who's a policy professor, is interested in being our faculty advisor. So I'm meeting with him on Friday. I'll let you guys know what he says. The fee transparency bill is on second reading tonight. We still have to figure out how exactly that's going to be implemented into Workday, but we're definitely going to set some meetings. Bill Cohen's the director of undergraduate studies, so I'll probably talk to him about that. And also looking at supporting first year transfer students through courses like Unit 100. We're also looking at kind of how to revamp that. And again, so you'll be getting a nice long email. But any questions?
Are there any questions for the community? To the director of
So this week for an instance, up here in the poster, this is how it's my name today. We started working on our numbers, but we was not really planning on having done for a few weeks until we figure out how we're going to be connecting the posters, which there will be eight. And we'll be able to speaking with our parents from storage for their like birthday birthday service. But we will need to figure out when it goes for. And those will go in academic buildings and staff. And then we're going to try to allocate some posters to put in the shuttle developments. So we're just doing some research on figuring out how to do all of that. And then, yeah, the final design is in works. Starting with the newsletter, we're creating a pop-up newsletter to present to the administration, and you can kind of just give them a bit of how the newsletter works, what constantly. For the website, we set up the information and how we kind of have been able to update the website really by having that. And then also updating the products and guide page, like the so please fill out this form to suggest content for initiative that you like things to showcase on the website, and I'll also send that in the officer channel. In terms of the Instagram, there's still a lot of posts. We have the Hero community post, the candidate forum post with the happening. Our posts are being read, SMB and French courses, the many accessibility on our and then also the fall initiative. Okay. And then also done. Per usual, there are some forms that I need to you, and then reminder have not submitted if I just that, please try to set it up for that. I thought that it would work. Yeah, that's it. Let me sure what you go ahead.
For them, like, with because I don't have any info. So I want to ask if you've looked into any like digital poster options. I know, for example, in the business school, we like clubs and organizations can submit like flyers posters they want to like advertise, and the business school like does a slideshow them, so it like basically goes around like all day long, and people like can take pictures of it. Have you guys looked into doing that in any way, like digital posters?
Yeah, guys, talk about it in many events today. About putting the flyers up, like in yesterday, where we have to teach people, like, when you're like, this is really the building, I was like a TV option with like the rotating wires and stuff. Talk about that and say that. Still needs to be, it still needs to remain now, but then. I think that's all it does. And again, that's all to her. We're getting this, we're getting a graph, but it's just we need it. Yeah. Any other questions?
See that. And so,
Hi everyone. So our team meeting for this week, we had the ABTF coalition meeting. We've been trying to schedule that for like forever. We only had one meeting so far this semester. But some of the things we're going to be discussing are the resolution to support in support of the Stop Campus Dating Act being amended in the Community Clarity Act. I don't have a lot of information about what that is because I kind of doing the European kind of meeting, but we should have a meeting before the end of the meeting next day, so you know about that. Some updates for us. We are doing arguing on November 6th and 7th, and I will to be spreadsheet the sign up and it's open to and it's open to all Wednesday. Table for us. We're working on our Pokemon survey research. We're doing a mini audit celebrating disability awareness month tomorrow. From 6 to 7, meeting the STA office. We sent out invitations and we signed Bill to later for International Day for People with Disabilities on December 3rd, highlighting issues of disability rights in the United States and promoting putting disability language in the state office. We just got this last week, so that you can see them. We're putting back on non-traditional behavior and we're going to start planning that next week instead of this week. I was working on issued applications for menstrual reasons, but I shifted focus to mental health reasons because we feel like that is more equitable to all. So I'm going to do the presentation next. Assuming the speaker allows, yeah. Wait here. Are we ready? Yeah, next week. Last week we in my updates last week I talked about filling out the American Medical Association and a 5K run in collaboration with the Black Women Association and NRC, the Proposal Club Development Society. It was fun. I got to connect with a lot of students, gathered student concerns. So we also had a successful outreach effort at the University of Homecoming Kickoff event on Monday during our meeting. All our legislators were able to meet with the constituents personally, and we collected a lot of feedback and had fun. We will continue discussing our feedback in the next committee meeting. The Universal Children's Day bill should be submitted as of now. I think it should go on the calendar next. Yeah, this is an error. We have begun planning and CYC and the Lead Research Program have reached out and the School of Public Health actually reached out to also be involved in that. So that's going to be really fun. The community center also reached back out to us about holding our next community meeting at the community center to do student engagement because apparently a lot of students hang out there. So outreach, we're just doing a lot of outreach right now. Yeah, we're looking forward to a possible working relationship with the community center in the future. And oh yeah, at the time that I wrote this, we were awaiting a response, but we got a response. Crab, we received an unfinished. For those who don't know, Crab is the committee for renaming academic buildings. And so we received an unfinished list from the CNI director. We're still working on it. It's an ongoing process. And we decided to loop in Dr. Dodge once we have the complete list and we can talk about how to effectively accomplish our goals. And last but not least, in order to promote equity within the SGA, the EAC committee will be spearheading efforts to ensure that directors are duly compensated for their work during this year. I have a meeting scheduled with Joe Khalifa after this. Yeah, we're meeting after this to discuss it. I feel like for the longest time it was kind of like you're gonna get paid or not gonna get paid, so I will get answers and share that with the entire SGA, with the spirit of transparency. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Yes, ma'am.
We move on to the director of health directors of comments.
but they are tabling, to get people to encourage people to come and testify during that public hearing at City Hall. And if you know anybody who could give a study about how to deal with would help that, feel free to reach out to Simon. And sounds like the bios are also posted for council candidates. The forum mentioned there is happening at 7. So if it's still going by the time wrapped up here, we encourage you all to check it out. Any questions? Thanks. And the rest of us.
Hi everyone. So first and foremost, we have a review right about the meeting event tomorrow. So if you sign up there, it's a pretty chill tailoring event. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. You don't really have to ask me to see if someone's explain to them the things that well, but check from and we also this is like something that we've been working on. Like if you look at everything else, we're very good. But we hired this is a great better. I went on this Friday and our team had starting to write some managing really for the statistics. Hopefully you can use that strategy in the future to generate our FT newsletter, monthly newsletter that I know is going to yeah, and I also sort that we are working on the senior mandatory and state on Florida to start on our university state resolution. We're going to be looking at here and what's going on for their approval. And then just going on with our meeting, we started working on a resource bill for different state and then we also got connected to Casa, just for general ideas of what policy that we want to for the legislative session, and then also we're looking to working with folks to charge them on right here. Having some meetings with that.
Well, I can think of this one as well. He's been working for quite some time on that fall leadership summit, so exciting that that's tomorrow. As he's presented to a couple of times, they made a decision this year that it will be optional for students rather than a mandatory event. But they still have a pretty high expectation for attendance, so looking forward to see how that ends out. Still working on the first and second one fair pamphlet, and I think part of the intention here is that a lot of the concept for that will be able to be reusable, and then it's just the specific information about student organizations that will have first. That's great. And they're still looking for other ideas to work on and still recognizing other groups. Anything you would like me to pass on, I'm happy to do so.
Alright, we should ask somebody about the recognizing this. The SU reference. Just to feel like that's plus.
Yeah, it is not
Program office.
I think it's actually students I can do anything, but I'll double check that out so I can like
Right. Company say for you guys, unfortunately we had to change all of the locations to morning California. I think this is a remote thing. The other right now is currently trying to get his other two dates, Wednesday and Thursday up on as well. But things look to be pretty finalized for that. If you guys want to look for a date that you can sign up with other people. Next is it, a few of my legislators working on the student FAQ book, for the legal aid office here on campus. Very excited for that. It's still in the works, but if this were to happen, this would be a very nice resource that we can use to legal aid website as well as actually or apps in some. Right before this, we had a nice meeting with Dr. Buddy, Council Legislative with the Senate as well. If you want to look at the meeting minutes, we did push on a few things, including dialogue initiatives as well as being student funding. We're going to phrase it very, very nicely, but I think for the time being, with how funding is looking for the campus pantry that provides for the needier students on campus, I do want to table the dialogue initiative that we're thinking of, with the takeout meals during buying season, just for a little bit. I want to gauge what Mr. Moore thinks of this initiative, or whether he wants to put more points in funding the campus pantry or the dialogue initiative that I propose. This is a nice thing. So, can I make amendments to the survey mechanism? By amendment, I will have to send you the survey first to look over it, and then you can send me. Does that work? Like, yes, or I can just say, could you know where you're gonna be, you can contact them, this meeting? Oh, where, it's like, okay. Like maybe after the with the students, when you have concerns and want to follow up with them, I will give you the contact and yes. And then could I get it to you? I know that definitely. And I know when I want to work with my time. And then for the legal last one, for your past now, where you always would be better. But go ahead. So oh, okay, yeah, so what we done with the reason? Let's just say this. Yeah, we're just talk about a few legal things that I just you know, I was really office and I'll do you know asking the same questions, so we're just gonna put down like what are your legal rights, your right, what do you do on campus if you get arrested, if you have immigration problems, who do those things and oh, here's the one that is that the family services, that was your and that we're doing that, yes, that was your no, that I mean, no, we said we found another yeah, exactly. So this survey that Gail was just talking about was for the dialogue initiative, or the survey tailoring this initiative for right now. So this survey that not students, because we have an issue going on in the campus pantry, we're a little bit short on funding right now, so we need to set up another meeting with Mr. Christopher Moore, who's the dining services director, to talk about where he wants to do this. As we are all familiar with right now, the financial circumstance is not looking very good. And so I would prefer to spend or allocate more financial resources to campus pantry over having meals for So filtering out the success, our we have really weeks, so that's great for everyone who came. Now we have a team event, and it's scheduled for 18th and so, we will have accessibility for you as well as yeah, and then we meeting scheduled on sustainability, we subscribe to sustainability and related so we are going to today.
Oh, really quick about this or sorry. Uh, is there a It's dead. Move it over. Hold it. There. Hello. All right. About the film scene, I remember a question about he played Vega thing from like a room provider. You know, if you have any more information about that?
I did think about we're here only children in Canada. So, find yourself there. Didn't see that, but as of right now, we're
No worries.
you know why I so much training is we need like
And are there any maybe like you would meet with folks in Silicon Valley, projects to like improvements to like this perspective. And this is to that like that. We had last time we meeting just on Friday, Halloween, so I don't expect anyone to be there, but you know what, you know. And today we're at break. Yeah, we had a we had a meeting with administration about the driving mission, but how this work, you know, this pass this resolution unanimous. And they basically the admin said, well, we refer to the other guy who hasn't done anything about this last decade, so oh, I didn't put it right there. But this is keep this. Still July there, no. I'm gonna hear this. Thank you, right? Your questions with that? The like, so you're there, so you want like the form that everyone had, like the form, like for them.
oh you know
Yeah. Margaret, is he on? Now, we got that 25 10 and the point and sequence between our results.
Hey guys, so this was basically for student fairs. So we have our actually meeting, and it's gonna be November 17th, 19th, and 20th. We do, and then definitely do have a time sheet, so it's still.
Still has been assigned to primary PTA plans, secondary committee student affairs, tertiary committee of. So we have 25% 29B, and so that achieves ability committee to complain table with those lots like this.
Yeah, so, this is basically just, system table, November 18, we'll have like questions and survey, and then, it's just for us like thinking what to just, it's, just
Including secondary communications and tertiary committee of research. And so we have S25 and C, regulating them with attention and professor, journalists, exercise their rights in response to board no ideas holdings on campus. The primary response is not here, but serious, we have this yeah, those see, there's some initial do this. Some students, some of their protests, and also some journalists are also doing the protests. But then they the thing for, and I felt very serious. But this statute still establishes 6 million and calling on the university to speak out on the, and also if we can handle with the fines, so maybe it'll just but yeah. This still has very listed to require communication affairs, secondary community time, tertiary community of last on the first reading document. We have S25 10.B, a resolution calling on the immediate preventing of citizen communication of seizures guilty of or actively in their investigation for genocide, human rights violations, or crimes against humanity on campus. Similarly, also here, there are two close officers. Yeah, and this is, we're doing revelation, which hopefully maybe only use to us, but never again to allow people who are going to take war crimes, shooting children, bulldozing people's houses, to come on campus and speak. I don't think anyone wants to be here. They really had a child that was less. I think I still have having her process that a lot of people. So that's a still stuff. The still is the primary affairs, the secondary committee, DEI. That's it for that. And the item, the land off next. Secondary calendar, the bills, first up, we have 25 10 today. Resolution supporting an early release ordinance. College Park, with the primary committee like to get any for. On their behalf, it's 4-0. Thank you. Would the secondary committee like to give the report?
702.
So much. Here for your voting. Motion to that. You got it. That is, there's been a motion to approve the committee report. We want to hear your voting. All those in favor? Any. With a vote of 27-0-1, this motion passes. Please, while you're ready to make plans. While you're voting, no answer for your voting. All those in favor? All those opposed? Any. Thank you.
Oh, wait, it was 8-0.
So that, therefore, half wins another critical meeting for. We then only to the airport and not student voting, all those there. Those. Amy. With a vote of 27-1, this motion passes. This is all ready for the main question. Yes. Okay, we will have to your voting, all those in favor. All those opposed. All those abstaining. The vote of 26-1, this bill passes. Okay, and I move on to Regina, first of we have, see, again. Friday, another meeting with CIVCA, the Department of Transportation Services, like we mentioned earlier, regarding the Annapolis bus. And then throughout next week, I have meetings with Battle Board, with the new legislators, that's EPSA, Tyler Burlow, and the other two p.m. we will get to confirming the T9 co-director. And yesterday I also met with your beach mentioned about the events last week that the superintendent talked about. And he was asking to pass along that he's open to speaking with any. Happy to answer any questions. Basically, that note came about because I gave him a heads up about the resolution with regards to UMD, and I just wanted to be aware of it. So he said that if anybody had questions or comments ahead of that, that you want me to reach out, but nothing specific. I don't know. Okay, go to update.
We to well, okay, I'll just kind of doing really stuff too. But like about my initiative, basically I heard back from the journalism school. I know like I keep getting ghosted, but what I know now is I basically had a contact with the whole school before I was talking to their director and the student. And then from there, we can somehow like meetings or video and we see for like people of color student newspapers. And I'm going to that meeting over this I'm looking into it for a while, but I really want to create either a monument or a certificate in journalism. A lot of people have said to me that they would not want to do a full major, but they would do a certificate or a minor. So I thought like definitely something that I want to do and once it starts getting have one of the FFT. If anyone has any questions about the hockey meeting, the answers I'm getting ghosted. But I'm gonna try, I'm gonna keep emailing, hopefully start the meeting. Sorry, I feel like I said that over there detail, but yes. You're getting a but I don't think last time not second, but yeah, I did say that. I did and I'm getting well I was having I had it was getting but no, you like the person I'm talking to like their head got spinning. What's that? No,
There's a list of trees that are listed on all this, like they can. So, but let's say how that's. And take a paper and submitting all the things that I mentioned, all the opportunity listed out there, the fees beyond that. Keep submitting those office hours, we also do this Friday. Uh, me, while we're doing that, that's not very friendly. I'll be doing this stuff out that. Got it.
So we got three, the first next door, so. I don't believe she's. But she has supported for a year, for her homes, and says, yeah, that movies always get like she's bringing in air and positivity with her. She always thinks she'll laugh, good style. She makes sure to be organized and sure everyone in the committee knows what they're doing. She also makes sure to check in to ensure things are all safety. She always makes sure to support people and she know them, and she's not a good director, but a good friend. So shout out to for Adam, who got supported always long year. Start our hobbies, and it says Gavin consistently demonstrates strong legislative initiative by drafting impactful bills and ensuring they are executed effectively. His work reflects exceptional attention to detail and a commitment to meaningful outcomes. He also upholds core values that shape by fostering open debate, thoughtful discussion, even on challenging or complicated topics, and communicates with clarity. So shout out to Gavin. Let's wait. Musa from Malika, who is supportive, persevering, eager, and responsible. It says Malika has been working hard for the past week and a half to coordinate Marion Dairy so we can have ice cream next week together. Despite challenges, he was communicating with catering services, class and switching the news switch to Calabas. Malika persevered to ensure that we all had ice cream. That one. Make sure it's simply good. So that's it. We have our mind this one.
Here for verses. So the birthday. This is Thursday, the next day. It's like we're to ice mix included. Everyone tonight not eating, and then that patient when the tour should be. Later that day, you're doing back to lunch. This is really Irish. The way it is that see it back. Like this is on Friday, he came with me and my cohort to visit school of medicine in Baltimore. It's not here inside because I don't know. And it's official running it down, which is pretty cool. And then the second came for really serious associate programs. It was s'mores in a chocolate. Okay, during all this chaos, I know about coffee, so this is about me, my coffee, and the Philippines, I swear to God, loving beer. This came around. Don't forget it. But it's like another vegan pronunciation of the whole art. Okay, Sunday, the push was so good first. So so I took out the side of my space like in long run. Okay, I don't talk to anyone who know what this is. Yesterday, when I was basically like proud and most cases are yes, shell. Yeah.
us.